My name is Jessica Cheam, Managing Editor of EcoBusiness. Very happy to be here this morning. We launched the Partners for the Environment Forum last year, and I think in that year since, we have seen so much ground-up movement and so many initiatives and meaningful programs to support Singapore's year of climate action. So very happy to be here to see a room full of partners and collaborators at the forum taking this conversation forward. So I'm here as the chairperson of the Climate Action SG Alliance, and I'm going to just share with you our story. I've just come back from Antarctica, so I maximized the use of the photos to make up for the cold that I was living in for 2 weeks. So the Climate Action SG Alliance started in January. It was actually a roundtable in which this idea was germinated, and Dr. Amy Koh, who was sitting next to me, hosted this roundtable of collaborators, partners in the grassroots community, as well as across business, society, and we came together to brainstorm about what meaningful action we can take. And I think, Mr. Thomas said just now that there's so much talk and no action, so really, what can we do? And we realized that one of the key problems with climate action is communications, which is the fact that climate change is such an abstract topic, it's long-term, it's complex, and it's very hard to inspire people to do something when they feel that they're very small, that they feel they're powerless, and they feel like what they do can't really make a difference. And so we also recognize the need that actually there are different segments of the population that need different targeted messages. So we began to discuss, what if we had an alliance of people who cared about the issue, who really wants to see some change, to get together and put their heads together. So Dr. Miko approached me and said, would you mind chairing this group together? And I was more than happy to convene a group of people across Singapore to put this together. How many of my Alliance members are here? Yes, hi. Okay, very glad to see all of you here. We've had really, really good meetings, 2 so far. We meet once every quarter, and this is the Climate Action Pledge, on the MIO website, which we are supporting. The Alliance members, here is a cross-section of the people in the Alliance. We put together people from across business, government, NGOs, the grassroots, and even media types like JP, who's our National Geographic Nature Photographer of the Year. And we really put our heads together to come up with some projects that we can take forward this year. But first, before we could take forward our projects, we had to agree on our mission. And really the mission of the Climate SG Alliance is to advocate climate action in Singapore by raising awareness levels among the public on climate issues, and not just raising awareness, but actually translating this awareness into action. These objectives here we have come up with and also agreed on, and they are kind of guidelines in which to chart our programs. And we are going to examine the current landscape of the communications around climate change so as to identify key areas of improvement in the narrative, as well as to pool resources, to develop new narratives, and to establish meaningful measurements of success. So I'm just going to take you through the 3 projects that we have dedicated ourselves to. We have a 1-year term at the moment. It's still up in the air whether we will extend this 1-year term, and if we will get new members in, I think that is the objective. But we have identified 3 projects so that we can dedicate ourselves to something that we can actually show for at the end of this year. And one of the key projects is Project Schools. I know this is creative naming here, but we decided to call what it is, And this is a holistic approach in targeting primary schools to drive a zero-waste culture, which is going to be led by Zero Waste SG. Hailin, who's sitting at the front, is leading this project, and really she identified these key issues, which is that in primary schools, the environment topic is only introduced in certain segments of the curriculum, and it's not something that's practiced daily. And it's seen as something that you do once a year on World Environment Day, but not something that you actually inculcate in your daily life. And so Zero Waste SG has come up with a program to engage schools and to call them zero waste schools so that they can inculcate these zero waste behaviors from a really young age, and we can get these schools to then share their practices within the constituencies that they are in, and then hopefully that this program can be scaled up nationwide. The other project that we are focusing on is Project Business. This is led by Mike, who's the CEO of the Mandai Group. And we have decided that really to make a difference in climate action, we need the big companies on board, and we need the companies that are consumer-facing. So we're talking about our Changi Airport Group, our Starbucks, and big retailers that interface with millions of people every day. So what we're going to do is that we're going to approach them to adopt one or more sustainability initiative, whether it's eradicating single-use plastic, whether it's adopting climate action targets, anything related to climate action, and to get them to communicate this to the millions of customers that they interact with every day, whether it's at the point of sale or whether it's through their communications to their stakeholders. And we've identified the 5 companies, including Changi Airport Group and Singapore Airlines. I don't know if you guys are here, but we're going to be approaching you very soon. And we're also inviting companies to potentially join the alliance and actually brand themselves as alliance members that are showing leadership on climate action. And I think that, beyond the fact that this is a responsible thing to do, there is studies that have shown that this also increases brand loyalty, it increases reputation, and I think that this is a great opportunity for companies to get involved. This third project, Project Recycling, is actually a brainchild of Dr. Amy Kors. There is a lot of misconception around recycling today, and the one very popular misconception is that our recyclables don't get recycled. And I think it's because we have these separate recycling bins and everybody painstakingly separates their waste, and then the recycling truck comes in and they tip everything into the same truck, and then it goes somewhere, and people think, wow, why did I bother to separate my waste? The truth is, the recyclables in Singapore are all commingled. So it doesn't actually matter, the bins you see outside MBS, which are all separated, it actually doesn't matter if they're separated because they all get put into one bin, they go to a facility where it gets sorted, and that's where the recyclables get sorted into the different waste streams. But the misunderstanding around the recycling is so high that people can't be bothered because they think that their efforts are going to be wasted. So there's so much education that we can do. The other part about recycling as well is that lots of people throw contaminated recyclables into the bins. So we're talking about nappies, we're talking about food, and it's quite a terrible situation because it ruins the efforts of everyone else. So we are going to be coming up with a national strategy to educate people on this. So I've come to the end of my presentation. This is our first meeting, and Dr. Kaur is our advisor. And basically, thank you for listening. If any of you want to get involved, please email me. I'd be more than happy to share your ideas with the Alliance, and we can see how we can take it forward. Thank you very much.